You want to see me type out the little solution to the challenge I gave you? Yeah? Temp. We have an index. So I said I want to see you use float. And I also want to see you use overflow auto. And I also want to see you use clear. So for overflow auto, I'm going to have a div. And then inside that div, I want to have another div and two of those. Fine. So the first div will have this be my container. We'll just do this ID container. And then this div will be ID 1. And this one will be ID 2. And my CSS. So div ID 1, I want to have a width of 200 pixels, 300 pixels, a height of 300 pixels, and for all my divs, I'll have a border, 1 pix, 2 pix, solid red, and so then I'm going to have this guy float left. Let's see what we have so far. Kind of interesting. So I could do some lorem in this second one. Make that a little more. So we got some overflow. So to clear that on my container, I need an overflow auto. Cool. You kind of see the different divs. Maybe I'll do this. This one is here, border. And this one will be yellow. I'm asking my computer to do a lot right now. There you can see the different divs. So, sure. Uh-huh. Oh, what's the point? Yeah. Yeah. Sure. That's a great question. Because we haven't really looked at how do we use float for layout. We're going to look at that in a second. That's where it comes in. Because all we've been doing is float and text. Something with text wrapping around it. It's a good question. And then the last one is I just wanted to do the clear deal. So I'm just going to put a bunch of divs here. And I'm going to give them the class of happy. And then I'll put 10 of them. Not quite what I was looking for. Maybe I need these. Not quite what I was looking for. I think just like that. There we go. And each one, I don't know, do I want something in the middle? Happy dog. So then I'm going to come over here and happy. Well, heck, you know what? There we go. They'll both get that applied to it. And then I'll have one more div here. And this could be ID 2, 3. By the way, these are horrible IDs. Because it doesn't really tell you anything, right? So you want your code to be semantic, to convey meaning, whatever your code is. And clear, and I could use left or both. I'll use left since that's what I've set. And 4 has some text in it. That's okay. I'll give it a border. These are horrible IDs. It doesn't look so good. Oh. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I don't like those being so big, but you get the idea. I'll put a margin on them. Margin 20 pixels. Kind of hard to look at. Graphically, I give myself a thumbs down. Okay, so that's the floats. Let's continue looking at floats and figure out why do we want to clear float. So we can use float for layout. We did float image and float clear. So here's a layout with float. Ta-da! So we have a header up top. And then we have 3 divs in the middle, all floated left. And then we have a footer, which has clear float. Right? Which file am I looking at? Layout example. That's the one. So you can see header, nav, main, footer. Header, nav, main, footer. Header, nav, main, footer. That doesn't seem like the page we just looked at. That's the page right there. I was wondering why that came up. Okay. So we have header, nav, main, footer. Header. And then we have nav, which is floated left, width 24%. And then we have main, which is floated right, with 74%. And then we have footer, which clears both. So that's for this page here. Okie dokie. I was pulling the wrong file a second ago from cache. We're going to see that file right now. So here's that file, 3 sections. Okay, and so here's the code for that. That's not what I wanted to do. Header, section, 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 footer. Section, height, width. float left. Interesting margins. I've like mixed up percent and pixel. Top right, bottom left, treble on the margin there. I did percent for right and left because if I add 1.5% to each side, that's 3% to each one. 3% times 3 of them is 9%. 9% plus 3 times 30% is 99%. Anybody have a question about what I just said? Because that gives me 99% of the page width. And then the 15 pix for the bottom just matches the header, 15 pix bottom. So the header has a 15 pix right here. And now these have 15 pix right here. Cool. Different little sections you can start dropping junk into. And then styling the things in each of those sections. So here's that taco example. Taco! What's happening there? How do we do that with floats? Just speculate. We have a container here, we have a container there. Let's take a look. We have a nav and a main. So here's the body, width, max width, margin, zero auto, center it, overflow, auto on the body. Okay, because that's the container that's holding these other things. Border 1 pix solid red. Well, when we look for that border, it's right here. That body's not holding much. It's only collapsed. Let's see what else is happening. We have nav and main, border 1 pix solid black, box sizing border box. So each of those, black border, box sizing border box. And then we have nav, floated left, vertical align top, width 25%, and we have main, floated right, width 75%. So the body collapsed because both those things got taken out of document flow. They're just floating. They're no longer in the body. There's nothing in the body. The body said, nothing in me, and collapsed. But we got the nav floating left, taking up 25%. And we have main floating right, taking up 75%. Let's iterate on that. Iteration number 2. This adds an article deal in, because that was okay like that, but what if we wanted to add in this article down here at the bottom under main? So now we have nav, and we have main, and we have an article. So body is width 80%, max width 700 pixels. Margin 0 auto, centers it. Overflow auto, right? So if anything's overflowing it, fix it. Border 1 pix solid red. Very interesting overflow auto when we floated. Didn't like then just like, oh, you're floating, but I'll still contain you. Nav main, border 1 pix, box sizing border box. Nav float left, vertical line top, width 25%. Main float right, with 75%. So we just added an article. That's all the same CSS. That article just kind of filled in and right up in that little spot. And now, body is containing it all, I guess. And did we do anything special for the article? No. Just kind of interesting. Yeah, it's in the main document flow, but it didn't go under the floating stuff because text wraps around things which are floated. There was no overflow auto or clear both, neither of those. And you just said a word, clear fix. Clear fix is another way that you could clear floats, but it's just a little bit more complicated. And learn layout actually refers to ClearFix incorrectly. They just give it a class name of ClearFix, but really what they're talking about is overflow auto. Just FYI. All right, so now the CSS, body's all the same. Nav and main right here are the same. Nav is the same, main's the same, but article I said clear both. So now article is down beneath. Body's wrapping around it. It's kind of interesting. That's, you know, iterations like that, and wait, it's not quite there. What else can I do to get it to work? Let me try that clear overflow auto, or clear both, you know. Let me try that. So that's the taco menu. And that's it for float. Yay, float. You guys want to move on for Flexbox?